What's up, Rat Potential? We're at the house. Gonna give you guys a rundown on what's coming because this week has been super busy. So, guess we'll just start out in the shop. So, new project, not for me, for Charles. It's that brown one that you saw over here. So it's an 84 GSLSE, had 80,000 miles on it. We think the engine overheated because the housings we think were warped and it wouldn't run when I got it. So I actually traded it for some work done on a friend's car. So a friend had a 79, wanted 5-letter suspension, so the 4x114 stuff. And in exchange for taking the 5-lug stuff off of this car, or 4-lug stuff off of this car and putting it under his 79 for the big brakes, he gave me the rest of the car. So, it's a complete brown on brown, beautiful luxury brown interior. We got some nice tint that needs redone, needs a new center console thingy. So what have we done to it so far? So before, I was doing a whole YouTube thing. Charles and I went and we fixed the bin rot. So typically on these cars, this was an Ohio car, right up in this area under the car, there's looks like a stamped steel plate that's spot welded to the chassis. Between that plate and the suspension mount, we get moisture in there, it'll rust, and it'll rot into the bins. So on an FB, not an SA, on an FB, so the newer ones, they have, which I don't want to bust up the seat, they have bins right here. See how this opens? It's a bin. So underneath that bin is like the rear wheel well area. Say that 5 times fast. In there's where they'll rot out. So we went, cut all the rust out, welded in new plates, creaky door, and it's all fixed. So another thing we did, Charles had a freshly rebuilt Series 4 6-port engine, just stock ports, sitting at the house, core, ready to go. So we popped that in here. It ran for a little bit, and then we started having issues where it would flood itself all the time and wouldn't start. So the plan is, we have an old Mega Squirt 1. It's in the back of the BMW right now. I'm going to run it on this car fuel only. So I'm going to leave the distributor and the coils. We're going to hook the Mega Squirt up with 2 injectors, just like a regular GSLSE would. I think I can hook up, actually I know I can hook up this TPS right here to the Mega Squirt. And you'll have those injectors and a little baby map sensor that's built into the Mega Squirt. Should run and start. The other thing that we did for this car, which is something cool I'll have to show you in the next video because I'm going to modify it. Notice it's 5-lug. How we achieve that, it also has Turbo 2 4-piston calipers. So how I achieve this, and I'll do this for people here once I have it sorted on this car. It has a stock first-gen lower control arm, Mazda 626 ball joint. The 626 ball joint fits into the first-gen lower control arm. That ball joint shares the slot-style neck, whatever you want to call it, on the ball joint. It has a slot instead of a taper, so you can slide an FC spindle onto that ball joint. FCs are front steer, so the steering knuckle goes out towards the front of the cart and steers. On an FB, it's rear steer. So I took a set of FC knuckles, flipped them backwards, so the passenger side's on the driver, driver's on the passenger, etc. So now they're rear steer, and then just extended the tie rod threaded piece to fit. So this has FC front suspension. It's 5-lug. Notice the Turbo 2 calipers on the wrong side. On an FC, it would be back here. It's because the spindles are backwards. Also has FC stock struts. So these are not like a coilover. However, I did cut the springs. I cut probably 2 coils off the FC spring just because it was like rally car height, so we had to get it low. In the rear, what Charles has done in the past and what we did on this one is you can take a GSLSE axle, which is this one right here. Nope, it's not that one. It's actually the one in the back, but it's down there. So you take this flange right here on an SE axle. It's bigger because it's not 4x110, it's 4x114, and it has enough room. It shares one hole. You can drill it for 5-lug, drill the rotor, and then you can fit 5-lug wheels in the back. So Shiba, the turbo first gen that you saw in Deal's Gap, that's how the rear axle is in it. So that's this car. hopefully, I'd planned on working on it this week. Was at work till 11 o'clock last night, finished stuff up, and it's just been busy. So it's fairly clean. It needs a paint job. It looks to be in decent shape, but you know, the cowl's faded, roof's faded. James, when you watch this, still want to try to get the glass roof from whomever you loaned that to, if I recall correctly. You said you'd given it to somebody. So I'd love to try to get that back. This is also a factory power steering and AC car, so we're going to fix both of those and make them work. Charles wants it as a daily driver so he can get rid of his RX-8, which would be cool. Good upgrade. AC, power steering first gen, over an RX-8. I'd choose that. So, that's this car. The other update. You're going to see at the end of this video, just stepped on that. At the end of this video, the convertible making some gnarly flames. So, at the Dragon, I didn't film too much out there besides just showing you like the behind the scenes stuff that happens whenever we go, because everyone's seen Dragon runs and car show pictures and whatever, and we blew that car up. But the convertible, the TPS isn't adjusted right, so when you're off throttle, the throttle pedal completely, it still thinks that you're giving it like 20% throttle, and it dumps, I think, almost 30% duty cycle of the injector just in when you're off throttle. So on decel, it shoots gnarly flames. It's basically like not having fuel cut set up on diesel. I'm sorry to look at the sky, but I'm going to get the hood prop up. So, that's what this car is doing. What I had done is I had adjusted the TPS down here. So the wideband TPS, I adjusted that to be right so it would run right when you're on throttle. It wouldn't do anything weird. However, the narrowband TPS, which is this top one, is not adjustable on this. You adjust it like with the idle. So I'm curious, or at least if it is adjustable right here, I could not figure out how to adjust it. So somebody who knows more than me, tell me how to do that. So if you adjust the idle, it adjusts where this sits, and I got it pretty close, but it's still not right. The other thing that I had issues with, and still have issues with, is I keep popping couplers off. So I had to cut this so there's no beveled edge on it. So I need to find somebody that can TIG weld aluminum to weld me some beads on there, because I keep popping this coupler off right here, and it's really driving me up a wall, because then it'll only make like 0 pounds of boost, and I need the boost. But the car rips. Butt dyno, maybe 220, I don't know, not that fast, but it's way better than just being basic NA, because it fills the gap of when you want to drive out of a corner and you punch it, builds boost and it drives. Versus NA, it's like, and then you're 100 yards out of the corner and it starts going fast. So that's what's cracking here. So I apologize for not having a ton of action and cool stuff in this video, but I figured y'all just kind of like to see what we're going to be cracking on here next week, and it gives me like, lets me kind of get started on building stuff tonight and not worry about filming too much, because I don't think I'll have enough to film just cleaning the car up and cleaning the garage up. So this is kind of me filling that gap, still giving you guys some content and whatnot. The vert on the Dragon, it's slayed. Fat tires, super gripped up, BC coilovers, it's super sticky. You can just turn it in second gear with that, so it has a 390 automatic rear diff, so you never really have to shift to third that often. You can kind of just and you're at the next corner, versus like this car, even though it still has a 3.9 diff, it just, with the smaller tire and stuff, you're like floored and you need to shift to third, and then you got to downshift, and it's fun and involved, but I don't know, probably why we blew it up. So I think it leaned out and it cracked a corner sill, but we'll find that out in a future video. Oh, actually, let me show you bin rot real quick, because this car has a bunch of it. So on these first gens, this is what you call bin rot right here. So on the brown one, we cut this whole panel out, and some up here, because this one's rusty up here too. We cut a lot of that out too in there and fixed all of it, re-welded it. But this car's got flares, done decently. Skirts, nice red interior, super cool radio I put in, pretty crusty. And then hopefully there's no snakes under here. Oh, we're good. And then just a mildly reasonable engine bay. So it's already got FC coil pickups there that just need hooked back up and etc. So if there's anything specific that any of y'all want to see on any of the cars, so like on the vert for example, if you have questions or stuff like that and didn't catch it in a video, let me know and I can always point it out. I have no problem filming specific stuff here. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. Pearl has been shredding on daily duty. So couldn't just end the video without, you know, a fun pull in the Beamer here. So here we go. I'm really not too hot at this whole 1-2 shift thing, so we're just gonna do it in second. It's a little sketchy with having to hold the camera. She eats. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for some more action. Calvin's gonna bring my other race car down. We'll do some cool tandem race car stuff in the yard whenever he brings it down here in the next month, whatever. The yellow race car. And then we will be back to shredding. So, sorry for the lull from car action, but this is what I'm doing. So, thanks for watching. Keep it rad.